Hello, everybody. I am Kevin Aguilar, and I'm very, very, very excited about this very first video broadcast that I am partaking in at this present moment because it's my very first one for the From Fat to Fit with Kevin um, social media platform. And it's going to be an interesting conversation. I am really excited to talk to an old dear friend of mine who I've not spoke to in quite some time, and who also I discovered through my social media snooping, has had quite an amazing weight loss journey himself. And I am going to pick his brain. I'm going to find out for you guys the highs and his lows and everything else, because I know that if you are planning your own journey this upcoming new year, because this is the time, this is the season that everyone starts to do it and gives an attempt, we are going to, I'm sure, gain not only inspiration from him, but maybe even a tip or two. And I might even break my biggest rules, and I might even share my own personal stuff too. We don't even know. So, without any further ado, I would like to go ahead and bring on Matt McHale.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello, hello, Matt. It looks like there you are, Matt. Good to see you.
Here I am. Now I'm on.
The beauties of being the very first one in new technology.
Yes.
All right, so I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. And you're
You're,
definitely going to be sharing personal stuff. So,
oh, there we go. It's gonna happen. All right. Well, I appreciate you joining me tonight. I know it's a little bit later in the evening because you're on the East Coast, correct?
East Coast, yes. Outside of Philadelphia.
So burning the midnight oil.
About 10, a little after 10 o'clock here. Yes.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So I kind of mentioned that I was kind of scrolling through Instagram and stuff, and it looks to be like this last year in particular, you have really dived in and focused on your own personal weight loss journey.
I have, yes. And it's something I've always kind of, struggled with and going back and forth with. What I did this time around, and this is something I've tried a few times before, was a program called 75 Hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's you haven't heard of a guy named Andy Frisella as a First Form is one of his companies. He has multiple companies at this point, but he started a supplement company and started a podcast and started a lot of different things. And he came up with this program because of a bet that he had with a mastermind group that he has started.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to them, "Hey, next time we meet, I'll be at," and I forget what it was. It's like in single digit body fat or somewhere, and he was going to look at his body fat. So he figured out what he would have to do to hit that goal and how far he was from it. And he was 75 days away from that. So 75 hard was, it could have been 85 hard, it could have been 83 hard, it just happened to work out that way. But instead of just making it about weight loss, he made it about mindset. He made it where, he took a bunch of little things, like you had to work out twice a day. So that was definitely among the hardest things to do. And one of those workouts has to be outside. So
Interesting.
the whole point of that is you can't control what's going to happen, your situation. There's always things that are going to come up. There's always things that are going to distract us.
Mm-hmm.
You had to persevere no matter what. So it didn't matter if it was cold out, it was raining out, no matter what it was, you had to get at least 45 minutes of workout outside. Now I have a golden retriever, so that wasn't that hard for me because I have a golden retriever who was looking at me like, "Hey, can we go outside now? Can we go outside now?"
Right. Yeah.
So my dog lost weight too on this journey, which he
That's awesome.
could stand to lose a couple pounds. So at one point we were walking, a little over 5 miles a day, and we have nice hills and everything back where I live, some nice back roads and everything, so we can walk on. But so that was, that part was, somewhat fun for me to do, but still, there was days when it was tough to do. But you had to do the workout twice. You had to read at least 10 pages of a nonfiction improvement book, whether it's self-improvement, business improvement, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Had to drink at least a gallon of water a day. It's funny because I talked to a few people, and drinking a gallon of water a day was the hardest thing for them. Where I drink water all the time. So as we say, Philly water, I drink it, constantly. So I always have water around. But when you really start to measure it and you start to say, you know what, I'm going to be very conscious with it. I'm going to drink at least Now you said a gallon a day. For if you want to make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day, figure out what how much you weigh, and half of that in ounces
Right.
is a really good way to look at it.
So that's a
Um,
good takeaway point, right? So take your weight, half of that in ounces.
yep. Because most people are dehydrated. Whether you're low in energy, you feel hungry, you're not feeling well. Like a lot of these things can come back to dehydration. So if you just start drinking that water and drinking consistently, just that it's amazing how much better you feel over time, and the results they can help with that. So that was part of it. What else was part of it? You would take a progress picture every day. You would check in every day on that. You would follow a diet, so he didn't make it like this is how you eat, because
Hmm.
some people are doing it. Again, it wasn't around weight loss necessarily, but so some people may want to gain more muscle. Some people wanted to lose weight. Some people wanted to so you knew you just know what you want to do, and you had to eat right for that, because you couldn't have any cheat meals, you couldn't drink any alcohol, you can't have any sweets or anything like that. So you kind of laid that out. So you were gonna you were gonna have a good diet, but you geared it around what you're trying to accomplish. So if you're losing weight, you gear it towards that, which I was obviously trying to do among that. So in doing all those things, obviously you lose weight. So over those 75 days, I've lost about 23, 24 pounds, and dropped
That's
about
that's
4,
really really amazing.
yeah, 4% body fat.
Wow.
Yeah, yep. So
And that's just 75 days. That's not even 3 months. That's not
yeah,
even a quarter of the year or anything.
it's not that long a time, but when you're doing it, it's like, oh my gosh, it's longer than than you think. When you're in it, because the key to this is you have to start over if you miss anything. If you don't read, if you don't drink, if you don't drink a gallon of water, if you forget to take the picture, whatever it is. And he has an app that helps you and reminds you of all these things throughout the day too. He came up with an app. The first time I tried to do it, he didn't have the app or anything, and I didn't make it all the way through. So this was my second time, second or third time trying to do it. So this time I completed the whole thing, but again, because it's a mental toughness challenge, he's going to be like, if you miss something, you start over. So it was. I really want to do it, especially with what we've been going through this year and everything that's been going on. It wasn't just about, again, for me, losing weight and doing that. It was like to have that mental toughness, have that, we're able to push through and do something like that, no matter what the conditions, no matter what happened, and you're able to accomplish that. It really, when you get on the other side of that, you really understand, like, well, okay, yeah, this is what I'm capable of. This is what I can do when I really set my mind to it.
And you've done it. You've done it. I mean, the progress. I saw you did post one thing of a progress photo, and I think there was also another one with a T-shirt, if I'm correct.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
That was yeah. So I lost my brother. Be 10 years ago. We just celebrated his 10th birthday without him. So that's one of the things I kept of his. He was always in good shape. He was in the 82nd Airborne. He's my older brother. He was always in good shape. Always, so he never had a problem with that. And so I had one of these T-shirts, which was like an Under Armour shirt too. So it's a tight fitting shirt. And I kept that, and that was the first time I've ever been able to kind of put that on and wear that. So I wore that, on his birthday. So and took that was the picture I took that day and posted on social media. So that was nice to not only be able to do it from a weight loss standpoint and be in better shape, but being able to have that on that day. So yeah, it was neat.
That I just can't imagine words of what that must have felt like. That must have just been
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
So, in terms of this, of starting or trying this, has it only been in this year that you've tried and a few times, or has it been over the past few years you've tried to accomplish this,
The 75 Hard program,
or
or
just the general
wait.
wellness and fitness?
Yeah, no, the wellness and fitness has always been a challenge for me. So it's one of those things where I enjoy working out. I enjoy eating bad food too. So that's kind of my downfall. So I I don't think I've ever been as consistent with working out as I've had been, because even after that, the 75 hard has stopped.
Hmm.
I work, a lot of the things I'm doing hasn't stopped, and that's one of the things you'll see. And he come up now with a year-long program where you do certain things throughout the year to kind of keep you on track. But I've been pretty steady with, all those things that I was doing along the time. So it's always been a challenge for me. I've always fluctuated in weight, going up and down. As I said, the running and working out and all those things I really enjoy. I've done a lot of Spartan races, Tough Mudders, things of that nature. So that part of it, but the part of, I like to eat a lot of like I said, food and bad food. That's been my challenge. Always has been. So, but as I'm getting older now, and it's harder to kind of rebound, and it's harder to keep these things up. The working out daily has really become really important to me. So it's really become one of those things that I focus on. That I have. I use Apple Watch. You have
Hmm.
Apple Watch. You have the Whoop. Has really come into its own as of late.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Fitbits obviously have been around. So anything like that where you have a tracker. I like the Apple Watch because I have a bunch of friends who have it. So we all kind of share where we're at each day on there. You can have competitions over a week long period with different people. So it's just things like that that kind of keeps you focused, And I purposely, a friend of mine, Casey, who's an ultra marathon runner, he's much younger than me, in great shape. I was in a challenge with him purposely right when the 75 days ended, and our challenge is still going to go for about 5 days. Because I said I definitely didn't want to I didn't want to get to like day 76, be like and then sit back, and then a few days goes by and you start to get lazy. So I couldn't do that because I was in the competition, and knowing that I'm very competitive, I made sure that I kind of had that trap in place. That's one thing that people need to do is set up traps. To, when you want to do something, whether it's getting in shape, business goals, personal, whatever it is, set traps throughout the day. Like with my phone, I would set the alarm for the water intake. So I would make sure that I would have a certain amount of water throughout the day. And that's why I ended up getting this, and this is like a 25 ounces. So I would drink immediately when I would wake up. I would drink 16 ounces before I did anything. I would just down 16 ounces of water, and that's good to do. Just kind of kickstart. You just slept for however many hours, 8 hours, 6 hours, whatever people sleep, but you haven't had anything to drink or that whole time, so you're dehydrated when you wake up.
So I'm going to pause you right there for 2 seconds and
Yeah,
just kind of talk to the people who are watching this broadcast, because you have dropped some really great nuggets of information. The
yeah,
recruiting of your friends, embracing technology, all of those little things combined can really help make someone and their journey be more successful. I mean, because we just, the tools are out there. You've got, you can recruit your office staff, you can recruit family, friends, all that stuff, that
yeah,
community. So I see how you kind of integrated all of that, and I can see how all of those would play parts and to make success. So you guys, we're so lucky to be chatting with Matt here, because that is some great little nuggets. So if you missed any of that, we're just saying, you're on YouTube or Face or wherever watching this video, go back, pick up, take note to some of the stuff that he just dropped, because it was good. Anyways, I had to do that.
no, absolutely, go right ahead. So yeah, it's funny because when I'm working with people and we talked earlier about like I coach people in business and I tell people, I was like, look, let's record, especially now you're on Zoom or something like that, it's easy to record.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I'm like, pull out your phone, start recording. Because at some point, inevitably, you're gonna say to me, "Ooh, that was great. What did you just say?" And I'm gonna say, "I have no idea," because I just start talking and I just start, like, "Oh, the way you said that was perfect. That's what I want to say. How did you? Can you say that again?" I'm like, "No, can't say it.
Nope.
I don't even know what I just said to you." But if it was good, so now I record, either record on my phone or have them record, so you can kind of play those things back, as you said, kind of rewind, go back, take notes, and do those things. So it helps
That's
too
it.
when you're having a conversation, so we don't
Mhm.
have to sit there like, "Ooh, that's a good point Kevin just made," and you're sitting there writing things down. You can, you might want to just write down, one word or something just to know to go back to look for it. But that helps you. We can have a conversation, but then you can go back and listen to it later.
And you know what? That's actually a compliment when, if you don't remember what you just said 15 seconds ago, because you're just speaking authentically, and that's why it's not scripted.
Right.
You can't rewind and go back to the script, because what you said is just true and authentic. So that's, I always tell people that's a compliment when they're like, oh, I can't believe I can't remember what I just said when that happens in those scenarios. So that's actually a good thing.
Cool.
So was there something in particular that was a trigger for you this year that really pushed you over the edge? That really, was there something like, that really was the trigger, and making this be Matt's year? Because this was your year. This was the year that you did it. You accomplished it. Was
Right.
there something that triggered that?
I think COVID definitely played a lot into it, and kind of where the situation we were in, like everybody else. I lost business. From a business standpoint, I lost business, and just that you're kind of you're depressed about that. You're depressed about, we're all stuck inside. You can't go anywhere. You can't and at that point you're going. There was two ways you're going. You're either going, okay, I'm just gonna catch up on all the Netflix shows and sit here and eat, or I'm like, you know what? I have a gym in my house. I got all the equipment I need. I got I can go out and walk my dog every day. I'm gonna I have the time, and I'm gonna put the effort into it. So it's a matter of what you really want to focus on and what you decide to do. And that's really what it is. And that's why, again, something like 75 Hard, where you have that app where you're going through daily and you're just saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going to do today. So I was listening to Matthew McConaughey on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about, he had just wrote a book, and he had been journaling for almost his whole life. And that's why he wrote his book, because he had been journaling. And Joe Rogan's like, wow. He's like, so you really journaled that whole time? And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, when I was younger, I started doing it. And he's like, I'm a list guy. He's like, so I'm going to write down everything. He's like, the next day I'm going to write down, like, I'm going to kiss my wife. He's like, everything, even things, you're going to do. I'm going to kiss my wife. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to, Joe's like, you write down you're going to go to the bathroom? He's like, yeah. He's like, because I know it's going to happen. That's one more thing I can check off my list, So, and he said, when things were going really well, he's like, I noticed I stopped journaling. And then I said, you know what, you got to, you have to get back to that, because when things are going well, you put those things down. So if you're not having good times, you go back and say, when things are going well, what was I doing? What was my mindset? Who was I hanging out with? What was I doing? What was I, so, and McConaughey's like, that helps me get my wink back. He goes, he's got that Matthew McConaughey wink.
Oh yeah.
That, but yeah, he's like, that's what helped me keep my wink. So, but it's, it was such a great point of, and he says every day, every morning he'll sit there and journal a bit. And at the end of the day, I'll write down what he did that day and plan out what he's going to do for tomorrow. And that's just, again, no matter what you're looking to do, whether it's, get fit or any kind of goal, like you need to have that daily focus on. You need to have that. Again, I go back to having a trap. That's the trap that he set for himself, where he's like, before I go check social media, get in there, before I do anything else, I sit and spend time with myself and then figure out where I'm at and what I want to do. And then I'll go and start talking to other people and start doing other things.
I think that's something I've seen and I've heard from so many great people and great, industry leaders and stuff like that, that they have that quiet time in the morning. The first thing the alarm doesn't go off and they don't like jump on social media. It may be an hour or two. I think that's another really important factor or something for people to consider. So tell me, if you remember, I'm kind of curious, okay, so you made the decision. You just said, I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to start Monday morning. But now it's Sunday night and you're lying in bed and you know that tomorrow is the day that you're going to start this. Do you remember that evening? Can you tell us about that?
Probably don't.
Because I can tell you, for me, I'd be like this. I can't sleep.
No, I was excited. I was. I never have problems sleeping, and I think that's because I just, I probably go so hard throughout the day that once I hit the pillow, man, I'm out. So I'm blessed there that I never had problems, sleeping or getting sleep. But and I even have like the watch, the Apple Watch measures your sleep, and I'm always like 97% or like very high percentage of like just solid sleep. Once I'm done, I'm down. So, but no, I know that, I was excited. It was like, this is great. I'm gonna do it. And it's one of those things where, and it's funny because I have a teenage daughter, and I talked to her about it, where you get to the point where like I do something new and you get excited, and then I think most people, like you said, most people get
Mm-hmm.
that point where they're like, now you're getting real close to it. Now you start getting that nervousness. Now you start getting that angst about it. And I think I was probably nervous, excited to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said, like this time, now we had, it's a simple app, but now we had an app, and now we had, and I think I planned a little better for it this time. And I think I knew more what I was going to go in to do it. Like I knew I was going to set the alarm to drink the water, because before, and I try to do that, and you get halfway through your day, when you're working or whatever is going on, and you're like, oh, I didn't drink enough water. And all of a sudden now 10 o'clock at night, I'm trying to drink half a gallon of water. Well, I'm not going to sleep well, that night, because you're going to be up half the night. So there's just things like that. You knew, okay, I'm going to, I got to make sure I do these things. So I was a little more prepared this time around as well. So I think that helped with the nervousness. But no, it's like at the beginning you're excited, and it's funny. You start at the beginning, you're excited, and you get in like, and now you're like, I'm 2 weeks into it, it's going, and you get to, there's plateaus and everything throughout it. There was days when you're like, I didn't want it, and then 11 o'clock at night, downstairs on my treadmill because I didn't get to my second workout that week, and I'm just exhausted and like on a treadmill, just trying to get it done and get it in, So yeah, there was days it didn't go swimmingly the whole time for sure, and there was days you're just like, and you're just you're just beat. But if you just kind of keep that focus on what you're really trying to get out of it, and I think the reading, and especially you figure out what you want to read. That's
Mm-hmm.
a huge part of it. And I'm a big video guy, so I love that you do this. You use this medium to
Mm-hmm.
educate people and to communicate with people because I love to do that. So I talked about Joe Rogan,
Oh yeah.
and like there's guys that Jocko Willink and
Yeah, I just discovered him, and
yeah.
so yeah, I've only heard a little bit, but he's interesting. I definitely want to
Yeah,
more.
David Goggins, that guy is just insane. I mean, he just, I don't know if you're familiar with him at all, but he's got a great book. Put his book right here. There's Jocko's book over there. But yeah, he just, David Goggins was a guy, he was really overweight. Just, YouTube him. He
I'm
was
going to.
super overweight and was working as an exterminator and just was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Went and talked to a recruiter, wanted because he saw in like A&E, he saw about the Navy SEALs, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna go in the Navy SEALs, man. And he was 60 pounds over the weight limit for his. They figured out his height. The guy's like, you got to drop 60 pounds in 2 months or something. It was something that it was crazy to be able to do it. And he's like, well, I'm not doing that. When he found out, and he's like, I went and got my fast food and went back to work. And he's like, that day I hit the mother load of cockroaches. I hate cockroaches, and he's just like, and that was it. He's like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going to figure out a way to lose the 60 pounds. And he's done it. And he's one of these guys that has pushed his body to the limit ever since. And it's crazy the amount of reps that he did, because he lost all his weight and never had any kind of, hanging skin or anything, because he would do like thousands of push-ups and thousands of sit-ups and thousands of, and just, yeah, it's just read the book and look at his story. It's just getting, there's a lot of guys like that you can get, especially with YouTube, these short little clips
Mm-hmm.
go on to and get some motivation and see those things, So, and again, it's just find people that you like, and somebody out there might, listen to Joe Rogan and Jocko and Dave and say, these guys all stink. And it's just, but so go find someone, go find Kevin, go find somebody that you like, that you can relate with, that motivates you, because they're out there. There's enough people out there. We walk around every day with all the information now we need. The
Absolutely.
problem is we just need to know how to use it, and that's where everybody, that's where people lack. It's not
So
having the
true.
information. We walk around with these computers in our pockets every day. So it's just a matter of understanding how to use it and how to get that motivation to continue to do it daily. and that's what you need to figure out. That's what's different for everybody. And you just have to figure out what's your why. I'll steal that from Simon Sinek. What's your why? What's going to motivate you to keep going, to keep doing it on day 37, on day 46, on day 52.
Because it'll be different for every single person.
Absolutely, there's no question about it.
So speaking of day 36 and day 37, in your journey, let's go back. So we talked about day 1. Now let's jump to day 36 and day 37.
Yeah.
So were you, and again, this will differ for different people, but was on day 36, were you looking at day 75, or did you just look at day 36 and then day 37, or what was your mindset? What was going on with Matt?
I mean, you do look down the road. You do look at like, oh, I got, still have, this much time to do it. Now I knew, like the day, I had some stuff coming up when I was going to be done. So I knew that day I was going to be done, and what was going to go around that day. So I had some things to look forward to at the end too. So that was nice. But I think, it's you look at each day in of itself, and it's one of those things too. It's funny because you take the progress picture every day, and you're with yourself every day, so you're not seeing the results as much as other people start seeing it. So when you run into people that you hadn't seen in a while, and they're like, oh my gosh, you look great, you start hearing that, or you start putting the clothes on that you haven't worn in a while. And that was for me, the clothes was the big thing. I was like, okay, let me try some of these clothes on. And around day 36, day 37, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I am losing, I am getting in better shape here too. But with all the other things as well, with the reading and with staying on top of these other things, it was also changing the kind of the mindset. It was, again, it was hard. There was days when you just, you didn't want to do it. But as it's kind of one of those things where as it goes and gets harder, your mindset is also, so your mindset is always a little better than how hard it gets, so it doesn't seem as bad, so if it was this hard when you were back here at the beginning, mindset wise, I would have quit. But as you're going along and you're seeing some results and you're seeing these things, but you're also seeing the internal improvement. You're doing things, and it's this program like this. It's hard to explain if you don't do it. What you're going through, when you're good.
Oh yeah, and then remind us again the name of the program.
75 Hard.
And there's an app as well, correct? No, do you know if it's on both Google and iPhone platforms?
I believe it is on both. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go, people. Make note.
Yeah. If you just Google 75 Hard, you'll get, so he did a podcast on it, and you don't need the app. You don't need anything to do it. You can do it without the app, certainly. But it's one of those things where it's, it helps you. It definitely helped me. And I think it was $5 for the app. And again, he put the whole program together for free and did podcasts around it and did a whole bunch of stuff, and it doesn't cost anything. So
there you go.
It's like if you're familiar with Gary Vee, he's always like, hey, if I've given you anything over the years that helped you, can you buy my book? And just that mindset that he has around that. And I've known Gary Vee long before he started writing books or anything, and he was the same guy. That was just like, hey, look, if you feel I've helped you at all, if you could support, and at the time was, support Wine Library, it's his family business. So it's one of those things where I had no problem buying the app and other things because.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Gary Vee, interesting thing. So I had some time too, extra time, as many of us did this last few months this summer because being home, and it was really interesting because I did a little social media experiment on Gary Vee just to see what would happen, and I was thrilled by the results. I actually went and found like one of his early videos, then I looked at a latter video. He is the same person.
Oh, very much so.
He's just so, I mean, that is him. That is so him. And if you do that with some people, wow, the change. And with Gary, it's like, I was like, that is really him. That is really Gary. That is who he is. It was cool to see that.
I have a video of him on my YouTube channel that I took in 2009. at Wine Library, we were having a tweet up. So when Twitter, was when it's in its infancy, you used to have tweet ups. So you would meet all these people on Twitter. This is long before Twitter became the platform that it is today. Let's just leave it at that.
I miss it.
It was it was a lot more just like tech oriented or just you had different genres that would use it for different reasons. And Gary started using it because he wanted to sell wine, and he's like, at the time Facebook was for college kids. He's like, I don't want to be the creepy guy pitching wine to college kids, and he just said, you know what, I'm going to use Twitter, and then he started using video blogs, and where that went, but.
Yeah.
So we used to have tweet ups. So you would have something where people would put out on Twitter, and we would have them here in Philadelphia, and he would have them up at Wine Library, which is his family's business up in North Jersey. So it's about 2 hours from me. So at the time it was 2009, and I still have the clip on my YouTube channel, and there was maybe 8 or 9 of us in his office at Wine Library, and back he was talking about buying the jets back then. He was talking about, and yeah, he's just the exact same person. This is before he started writing any books, before he started doing most of way before VaynerMedia or anything like that. And he was just he was the same person, saying the same things and doing the same things. So yeah, he's genuine. Again, some people like him, some people don't. I love the guy, but he is who he is. So.
Well, not to put you in the hot seat, but do you remember how you and I actually got acquainted with one another?
Was it through the? There was something with Kelly. Was Kelly involved with that with Gary?
Nope. It was over Twitter. I was having a spat with the cable company, but you and I made acquaintance. We made acquaintance with each other over Twitter.
Yes, that's right.
Because Twitter was the bomb back then.
Yep. And we both hated cable companies. So
we both hated in particular that one in particular. Yes, we did.
We probably still do. Yeah. So
I still do. And I was dumb enough to give them a second chance a couple years ago, and it was even worse.
Right. Yeah.
But I matured a little bit, and I didn't air all my my grievances on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't air them as much on Twitter as I used to. I still once in a while, if I have an issue and I can't get in touch with the company, I'll still use Twitter for that. And,
well, unfortunately, it gets results. I had to result to that once or twice, but yeah. Okay, so we've got the date, we got the start, we had the middle there. Now I want to talk about what it was like for you the morning of day 75. Do you get up by an alarm clock?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I set an alarm clock. A lot of times I do wake up right before the alarm clock goes off.
Gotcha. So. Well, in this scenario, it's going to be day 75. You did set an alarm. The alarm is going off, and you're waking up, and it's day 75. Can you take us through that day?
Yeah. It was a Friday. So it was day 75 on Friday. So I knew waking up going in, and again, it was I knew going into it was going to be like just like any other day, because I wasn't done until the next day, so I still had to do all the tasks and everything. So it wasn't, there wasn't really any difference other than, the excitement of like, this is it, this is the final day of going through there, but I still got up and did my routine. And that, that's something like, you try to set up a routine, and like, a lot of people talk about this too, or successful, setting up that, and I don't care if it's a morning routine, night routine, like, you don't have to be a morning person. If you're a night person, that's fine. Just do a routine around what you are, what your schedule is, so, you'll see so many like, oh, if you want to be successful, get up at 4 a.m. The Rock gets up at 3:30 now, it's like everybody, it's going to get to the point where Mark Wahlberg's, in his gym at 3,
What is up with that?
The guy who doesn't go to bed. I'm the guy who doesn't go to bed. I work out 24 hours a day, So, but listen, if it works for them, obviously, I would hope they're going to bed at like 8 o'clock at night.
At the latest.
That's tough for me. No, I'm usually, I'll go to bed after this. So, because I do get up around 4:30. So I'm working out by 5 o'clock. So I do like to get up early, but if you're not, you don't have to be any specific. Just have a routine around what you do. When you like to work out, what works for you. That's fine. You can work out at night. You can work out whenever you want, but just schedule it and be consistent with it. That's what it is. It's really just making sure you're consistent. So I would work out in the morning, and then I would do my walk with my dog later in the afternoon because my daughter usually goes with me too. And she's not a morning person, so we usually do late afternoon. So all those things in the last day was still, it was the excitement certainly, and having all those things done, but it was still, the consistency that I had done on the previous 74 days, to get to the final day and get through it. So the next day was the big day when you woke up and you're like, hey, that's it, it's over.
It's over. What did you do? Did
But
you sleep in as a reward, or did you work out again?
no, I worked out again, yeah, because again, I was having that competition with Casey. So
Oh yeah.
I worked out day 76, Saturday morning was the hardest workout I had done the entire 75 days because I was on a call earlier with a client, and the one guy, who works at this company has, we're connected now on the Apple Watch, and we do Zoom meetings a lot with this client, and he'd be like, "Man, you're crazy." We'd be like, we do these at 7:30 in the morning, and we get on. As soon as we get on, he's like, "You're out of your mind." He's looking at me, I just burned 700 calories or whatever it is. So, and he's like, so we were talking, and the one guy who's the owner of the company said, he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "What did I do that one time, Chad?" He's like, "I think it was like I burned like 1,300 calories because he had done a spin class, like a 2-hour spin class." And he had an Apple Watch too. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember that day you did like 1,300 calories." I'm like, I could beat that. So I literally that day, that morning, I woke up and did a 2-hour workout and burned like 1,400 calories. It was that morning, and because I knew the rest of the day was going to be. I wasn't going to be I had some things planned that were going to be fun, so it wasn't, but I was like, I got up and worked out very hard that day. So it was, it was still, like I said, I was still in the competition. I was still doing things to make sure that I didn't just stop, you don't want to just drop off. But to me now, it's just ingrained, and I've set my watch and my things on there to, what I want to burn throughout the day, and I have like higher goals on my watch and everything. And I'm still at the point where I'm like, I'm not breaking that, that streak I have going on my watch, as far as, it's how much you work out during the day, how much you burn calorie wise. And I think, how many times you stand up throughout the day too, which is a good, you have people that sit in the office all day.
Right.
I'm at my office desk right now. I have a standing desk, so I stand up a
Nice.
lot, during the day anyway. And do that. But that's one of the things it does. So that next, that day 76, I worked out really, really hard. I was sore that
Oh.
day. I was sore day 77. I was very sore, but
I'll bet. I'll
I
bet.
still worked out then as well. So it and it's that program is one of those things where it ingrains. It not only becomes a habit, it becomes very much a lifestyle, and it becomes ingrained where you want to, you're not doing. I don't do the things now because I'm like, oh, I have to do this. I have to, like, I'm doing it now because that's my routine. That's what I want to do. I know if I work out in the morning, I feel better throughout the whole day. Like I know, So there's mornings when you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm tired this morning, but I already know if I just push myself, like all it takes, I forget the quote exactly, but he's like, you don't have to be brave all the time. You just have to be brave for 10 seconds. You just have to do something for that short burst of time, to be able to do something, or, so if it's, you're laying in bed, who's that? Mel Robbins. She talks about the countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown, and how she
Mm-hmm.
did that. And she was like, I was laying in bed one morning, and it was like NASA, and I just said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I got up. And she's like, it was stupid, but it worked, and I did it
But
again.
it worked.
And the next day, so it's just
Well,
that thing where if you just push through for that, that 30 seconds and get up and get ready and go out and and start working out, 30 minutes later, an hour later, you're so much happier. It's just like, I'm so like, yes. There's been plenty of times when I don't want to go to the gym and work out, or I don't want to do that. I can't think of a time when I was like, I wish I didn't do that workout. I've never gone into a workout and at the end of it say, man, I wish I didn't do that. Like every single time, I'm like, yes, I'm so glad I just did that. I feel so much better. You know, it's just one of those things where, and you just have to just push through that little bit of time to get to it.
And so anyone who is watching this and you are like, in that space where you're like, I think I want to do this. I think I want to take that next step. I think I want to do this. I can't think of a better thing than that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just saying,
Great.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
just go for it and just do it. So any final words of encouragement to anyone who is hesitant still at this point about creating or starting their own journey? um who they're like sitting here watching this, or like, gosh, I really wish I could do it, or I really want to do it, but
Right. Well, here's the thing. You can do something. So a friend of mine, John Evans, is a guy who's lost. He's lost a lot of weight. He's gained some weight back. He's one of these guys that battles to stay fit as well. He got into CrossFit and lost a lot of weight.
oh,
Uh,
bet.
and has gained some of it back. So he's kind of back in the saddle of saying, okay, I'm gonna, he's still trying to work out how he can do it consistently and do it over time and do that. And he even came out with a video and said, don't do 75 hard if you want to lose weight. And his whole point was like, look, that's a pretty serious program. He's like, do 30 hard, do 15 hard. But his whole point is do something. You can do something every day. You don't have to do workout twice a day, down water and all that stuff. So, start slower. Start doing something today. Not tomorrow, not just before you go to bed. Tonight, if you're watching it right now and it's late and you're on the East Coast like me or whatever, whenever you're watching this, just before you go to bed, do 5 push-ups, just do something, and then tomorrow do a little more. It's if you just do if you become a percentage better every day, and don't test out the new cookie dough like Kevin's doing when he talked about his social media earlier. You don't want to do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't use this excuse like, oh, I got to test it out for all my viewers. I have to test out this new cookie dough because I saw that, Ken. I'm watching you too. You're just talking to me on social media. I'm just talking to you.
Busted.
So I'm watching you and what you're doing. So
Awesome. I need that.
That's what's going to help people is they're going to go with you on your journey. So we're all going to go along together on this fitness journey with you. So that's how people are going to stay motivated.
And I can't wait to, because that's what I thought. That when I decided to do it, I decided, you know what? I saw a niche. I saw a niche for the 40 and, the 40 plus and the 50 plus. And I thought, and it ended up developing to almost like its own brand. So there's now like a website that's being developed, and there's a blog and a YouTube channel. I mean, there's this whole thing just kind of created, and it's good. I thought there's got to be a community. There's got to be a community, and I'm like I said, I will want. That's my journey. It's going to be my journey. I want to take people. I want to share people my ups and my downs, and I want to be able to bring on and talk to some people. I've lined up some people starting in January. Some amazing people in the fitness industry who, that's what they do. That's their job. They do that day in, day out, and they're all dead. Have committed to supplying some incredible content, with interviews and what have you, blog posts and stuff like that. And now I just found out too, we're going to be doing some group exercises together.
Awesome. Yeah.
Holy crap. I'm going to be sweating. But we're going to do it. So we're going to do it. I think the first one is on January 18th. I think. Okay. Anyways, I'll get jumping ahead. But anyways, Matt, it has been absolutely awesome connecting with you again. And I appreciate you spending your time with me tonight and making this broadcast and everything else. And I really do hope to have you back on this platform again in a few weeks. Yep. And we'll do something maybe it'll be just a quick check-in with one. Maybe I'll do a quick check-in with you actually. And maybe that might be more on an Instagram thing.
I still have goals I want to hit. I'm still moving forward. So I didn't stop with the 75 hard. That was my starting point, So I still have some major goals I want to hit fitness wise and other things. So yeah, I'm still along for the journey for sure. So
you're just a beast.
That's right.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Again, I know I'm not going to keep you up any longer.
No
So thank
worries.
you again, Matt McHale. And then really, really quick here, um the life coaching.
Yep.
So you've got a website too?
So go through Arcasys for all that. For all my coaching, that's it talks more about business, but I do because it kind of brought me from doing the business coaching. It's kind of along the same lines with that. So I work with companies, or I work with individuals on both. So whether it's business goals or personal goals, they really all come down to it's the same thing, and it's really not that complicated. So it's one of those things where if you want, like I said, you want to get something done, you got to come up with a plan and do it consistently and do it daily, and do those things no matter what the situation. So
So
if
people,
if people watching this on YouTube, we thought about Jocko. Go
mhm.
Google or go look on YouTube. Jocko Willink Good, Good. Have you ever watched that video from him, Kevin?
Is it? I don't think so,
You
but I
you you
will.
you will know. You watched it before. You'll know. So as soon as we're done here, I want you to go look at that on YouTube.
Okay.
Then just put Jocko Good, and it will come up. And
Oh, wait a minute. Is that where we're, if things go bad, good, if
yep,
this happens? Oh, of course I have. I
yes,
was like, it took a
right.
minute. That is like, yeah, like I'm
No
gonna have to
matter what
save
happens, he always says good. Oh, we
good,
didn't get the equipment we needed, good. Oh, we didn't get that funding, good. He gives us more time to get ready. He gives more, and that's just it. If it didn't, this didn't happen, good. That didn't, whatever it is, you just keep going through. You just keep persevering and going and going and going. So
yeah. That is a great video, people. Seriously, you need to check it out. That's how I got introduced to him. That's one of the two, I think, two videos I've actually seen. So,
okay,
it was amazing. I was just blown away.
yeah,
Blown away. So, all right.
no,
So,
no,
on signing off, Matt. Thank you again so much. Looking forward to
absolutely.
chatting with you more. And have yourself a great evening and keep up the good work. I'll be looking at you for inspiration.
Awesome. We'll be talking. I'll be watching you. You and that cookie dough. I'm keeping an eye on you. So
The cookie dough,
if
busted,
you
busted.
want to, if you want to do it, you want to inspire people. You got to start, setting those goals and buckling
Sit
down.
and just doing it. Here we go. All right,
All right.
Matt. Again, thank you. Thank you so
Yep.
much. Thank you
Great
so
seeing you,
much.
man.
And for you guys, thank you again so much for joining me. This is the kickoff video for my personal journey. But just remember that this platform, this format is not all only just about me. I am creating a platform for you guys, and it's a we. It will be a community. So you'll be seeing opportunities to join a newsletter, and and as I kind of briefly mentioned, you'll be seeing opportunities for like to talk to actual fitness professionals. There's going to be some seminar things that we're going to be doing via this new platform, as well as some group exercise events too, where you can just set up the laptop in your living room and we are all going to work out like a home workout thing. I saw a little brief thing today. It was crazy, and we're all going to do it. So thanks for spending this time with me. Again, that was Matt McHale. Look down below for links to him. And again, he's not a fitness expert per se, but he is someone who has really had huge success. And he is also a very, very successful businessman. So if you are looking in the new year for some business life coaching things, um, I would say you need to look no further than Matt. So look at the links down below from this video. All right. Thank you.